Okay, so I will start explaining the performance in the right sequence. And as you notice in the video, I start doing a false triple cut. The false, well, let me tell you, I have two kings. You can choose any two of a kind, any two cards you prefer. One face up, and like that, like so. Okay, the false cut, triple false cut is I have the third, second, and index finger right catching it against the thumb, with the index cut about 1/3, and clip it with the thumb against the hand and put it at the bottom. Right when I put it at the bottom, you notice I already cut with the index once again 1/3 and catch it with the thumb against the hand and bring the index and to the bottom and middle finger on top. Stretch it, bring the bottom and put the middle right on top of the bottom and the top right on top. Okay, so once again, when I cut with the index, cut again and put it at the bottom, but I just don't drop it and then bring my hand over here. What I do is I put it at the bottom, but at the same time as I put it down here, I'm catching this middle third pack and stretch it, clip it with the index in the middle and catch it again with the thumb against the hand. Put the middle on top and the top right on top. Okay, so in slow motion, and I still have the two kings. I mean, there are many other ways you can do it. Then the next, it was an overhand shuffle by retaining these two kings. As you notice from the side view or from the perspective angle view, they can see how I'm retaining, because they don't usually see it straight up from the top. So what I do with the index, I try to cover right here so they don't see, and also move your hand so they don't see too much in the retaining of this upper pack. So always be careful not spreading the upper card. Next is the selection. I always, when I spread it, I keep, little chunk up here, so I don't spread the face-up card in either way. They don't see it. When the spectator, just ask them to point any card they want. Let's say they want the Queen of Hearts. You don't supposed to know which one it is from your perspective. First of all, this is what I'm going to do is the spread control, because I'm gonna try to control the selection all the way to the bottom of the pack for a final shot. And what I'm doing here is I use the one above the selection and the selection. What I'm doing is I point the selection, I bring my hand up here, and so they can see I'm covering the selection with my hand. So it looks really nice. But what I'm doing is the 7 of spades, I'm gonna catch it with the thumb right above the pack. So like that, I have the selection at the bottom and the 7 of spades on top. So I can keep the 7 of spades above and slide the selection under this pack. But don't keep this huge gap. Always try to keep all the cards together, and that's the point why the reason why I'm bringing my hand over here, so I can spread like that, and I can keep putting the rest of the cards above the selection. One more thing is that when I show the cards, I try to square the selection with one hand above the card next to it, the nine of clubs. When I show it to the spectator, bring my hand on top, and then you're supposed to start doing this move not at the same time, but a little right there, a little after, right there, so they don't really see you start moving the card, the selection. And so when I bring my hand over here from the top, there is no big gaps around the cards. They all are square or evenly spread. They want that card, and then the next is 7 of spades. I push 7 of spades, and a 10 of spades I push it a little lower, and I keep spreading the cards right on top. And one more thing that I need you to be aware is when the selection I push a little lower, and I notice some magicians, they keep spreading, but from the audience perspective they can see this flap, so they can from the magician's angle, he don't see it, but the audience, they can see this little corner, and that's the problem. So what I do is I show the nine of clubs, for example, and then I bring the index and middle finger right in the front, so they don't see any corner, any flaps, anything suspicious. It's not really like palming, it's just that I'm hiding that edge, this edge of the card. And it helps you because you can bend it, So it's a little bit more secure, And they want this card, you can, 7 of hearts is the one I'm gonna push with the thumb above the pack, and push this one a little lower with the fingers right here in the right angle when you start moving your hands down. Okay, so always when I close the pack, the spread, I'm closing the spread with the side of the palm. I'm not closing the spread with the thumb, because if you close the spread with the thumb, you can expose the selection. You probably don't notice that much in the camera, but in reality, it's much better to close with the hand, with the palm, so everything it goes evenly closed. Okay, so the next step is the production of the two kings. Now, sometimes depending on the mood that you are, what I'm doing is I just leave the two kings face up all the time in the beginning, since the beginning. So by doing the spread control, the 10 of hearts, let's say, I do the spread control, and because they can see at least the kings, they are on top before the selection, and they're still on top after the selection, is, it may look probably better. But in this case, I was trying to be a little flourish, so you can just pop it out. Now, usually when I do this, I move my hand, so when I move it down, I peel it off like that, ½ inch. When I go back up, I just clip it all the way, bring it all the way at the bottom. But in this case, I have the selection on the bottom. So what I do is, instead of keeping the cards perfectly square in the front, with the tip of the index, I push it a little bit more towards me, so I can slide the upper card more easily around the edge of the pack and bring it to the bottom. You can snap either way, and then bring the card to the next hand. Okay, so the way I do it is using this same principle. The index is doing pressure against the thumb, As soon as I release the pressure with the thumb, the index shoot out. Basically, it's pretty similar because I'm pushing against the pack, and as soon as I release the pressure, the index will stretch out a little quicker. This is going to allow me to shoot the card. And the middle finger right here, I'm not catching, I'm just clipping the card with the index. Just the middle finger is in the way. This is going to help me to make the card spin, you know. So if the card spin, is going to help you a little bit more to suspend the card in the air for a little bit longer, you know, and it looks much better. Okay, so what I'm doing here, instead of shooting it right to the side, I do it 45 degrees. I don't do it like that. I go like that, a little bit upward. So it's gonna help me to shoot the card. And you have to practice, you know, how hard you wanna shoot it, because otherwise it's gonna shoot out too far away from your hand, but it's not gonna shoot out in your hand. It's gonna, you will have to go to catch it. Okay, so you know, there are many other ways people do it. You can just do the top shot and it looks okay. You want to do it that way, or just the finger shot, you know, either way. Anyway, the next is going to be the shooting the card. It's quite simple. Okay, so as soon as you have this card over here, the next will be a simple tossing. The way this goes is I just push it off the pack, ½ inch, and the index, notice, is not all the way outside, it's not all the way at the bottom, the tip is halfway outside, halfway at the bottom, and it's not right in the middle, it's about in the middle of the middle. So I just push upward, and this side of the thumb is pushing against this edge of these cards. So by relieving the pressure with the thumb, it's gonna cause the card to spin, because these fingers are helping, you know, for the card to spin. It's like you know, when you try to do multiple shots. This one always go at the bottom like that. It's kind of better you use brand new cards, or at least like about a 1 week use. So because when they are pretty old, they are really soft. You need the cards to be stiff, you know, a little bit harder material, so the cards can be shoot out much better. Okay, so once you already have these two cards over here, the next is going to be the shot, the selection to these two cards. So what I do here, there are 3 things you need to practice right before I go ahead and tell you how to do the shot. So one is, take any card and put about 1/6 or 1/4 of the card into the pack. Notice how the index is out of the way, it's at the bottom. Then stretch the middle finger to this corner. This is the shape you're always looking for right before you shoot the card. There is not a specific rule, because sometimes the card can be almost all the way in there or halfway there. The pack doesn't have to be completely closed. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Specifically, you can change it and you can shoot it anyway. So the next, this is the main shape you're looking for, this kind of shot. There are different cuts you can do. One hand cut. The most complicated cut that I usually do, I don't do it. And I'm not going to explain it because I didn't perform it in the video, but I will say it once only. I have the one hand cut position, like mechanics grip, or with the index, with a forefinger at the bottom. Just tilt it, the thumb is on the side. So bring the index where the middle finger is at and catch it like that. Bring the middle finger right in this corner where the same side of the thumb is at. With the back of the middle finger, catch it and push it against the index, just the bottom portion. And that's it. The index is almost completely square on top, but it's not at all. Really, see how there is a little gap right there? That's gonna be enough. With the index, make sure that your fingers are sweating or kind of wet. So by the tip, you can pull the bottom card a little bit. Middle finger, push it in this on side of the card, and the index keep stretching. So you are ready for a chop. Okay. Next is the easiest, not the most complicated, and this is this other way to do it. You can also do it that way. The way it is done is by one hand cut position, drop the bottom, and against the thumb is pushing against the middle finger and tilt it so you can bring the index right where the thumb is at and replace the thumb by the index, and bring the thumb where the third finger is at. You know, the thumb is going to be so up high over here that you need to push with a third finger a little higher and catch it against the index. With these three fingers, push it a little lower and slide the index right under, and so you can do the chop. Normal, regular speed. That's going to be up to you. The easiest cut that I actually use in the performance is this cut, and I like it too. It's kind of okay, but what I do in this one is, again, one hand cut. Bring the index and replace the thumb by the index. Just catch it, middle and index finger, and that grip, and then the thumb is gonna come over here to the corner, to the same side of the pack where the middle finger is at, and just push the half. You don't need to cut or peel anything. You just try to push the half against the index. That's it. And slide the index right under. Notice how the forefinger is ready in position just in case this card, fall apart. The index is right there. You don't need that much room. You don't need to peel the half of the selection card. Just a little bit. Then with the index, with a middle finger pushing, and the index keeps stretching, so you're ready right there. Okay. So that's the main way I do it. I will explain this again because this is the way I perform it in the video. Again, you are in one hand. I replace the thumb by the index finger, bring it all the way up here. I just catch it with the index and middle finger. Push just half with the thumb, half of the pack with the thumb. Then just with the thumb, push just half of the pack against the index finger. Okay. You don't need to cut anything or nothing like so. The forefinger is ready just in case this part of the pack is spread. And I just slide the index right under this bottom card, which is the selection. And you are in shape to do the one hand cut with the shooting card. Now the next issue is, about catching the selection with two cards. Because my hands, well, my fingers are sweating so much right now. All the cards are pretty soft. Sometimes when the fingers are a little drier, you can push really hard, and by lifting the thumb, it's gonna get a stick like that for like about 1 second, 1 or 2 seconds is gonna be enough. Index and middle finger, and then the thumb catch it. Well, not catch it, I mean, it's just gonna be stick, and you can catch the selection. And because of that, that's a big issue to me, because my hands are not always ready. So what I do is I just rather like eat it, like open it and close it, like so. It's okay, because the only issue here is you cannot really do this kind of performance on the street or outdoors, because with a little bit of wind, this kind of shooting cards is gonna get messed up. So I always try to do it indoors, so it may work a little better. Now you don't need to use two cards neither, as long as you shoot. Let me take it away. As long as you can do one hand, you can just take it out and catch it either way, any way you like. In this case, I did it with two kings, because sometimes when they're very well square, it's kind of hard to peel just the upper card. So what I do, I just peel it off and grab the corner and do the break right there, and then open it up. But I do this when my hands are, when I'm doing this at the same time. So I'm ready in position, but the audience doesn't really see me. And you just show the selection, the two kings. And that's it. It's not really complicated. This kind of shot, you just need to practice the one hand cut and the one hand chop. That's all you have to practice, because it's like a self-working shot. Not a one hand cut, but at least the chop, because don't use your hand to impulse the selection. It's gonna jump by itself, but make sure they're kind of stiff. The more older they are, this is gonna be really soft, and the problem when the cards are really soft, is not really gonna shoot out really nicely. And that's it. So I hope it's just about practice. All these shootings, they are like self-working shooting. It's not that complicated performance. It's just to keep the right sequence successfully. That's the only workout, but it's a quite fun illusion, to be honest.